tonight's City Council meeting, City of South Daytona, to order. Debbie, if we can get a roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Young? Here. Councilwoman Long? Here. Councilwoman O'Neill? Here. Councilman Schoner?
Here.
Mayor Hall?
Here.
Mr. Simpson?
Here.
Mr. Yarbrough?
Present. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation, then we're going to start in on the Craig meeting. Would please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray that you give those in this room the wisdom and the understanding to make the decisions that reflect love for one another. We pray, dear Heavenly Father, that decisions also made this evening are a reflection of what you want for our kingdom here on earth. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
So now we're going to move to the agenda for the Craig meeting. Craig meeting will be held, Monday, September 18th, 2017. We've done the call to order. We've done the roll call. I need a motion to approve the minutes of March 14th.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Under new business, Scott, if you would, please.
Craig resolution number 17-01 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City of South Daytona, Florida, Community Redevelopment Agency, adopting the Redevelopment Trust Fund budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2017 and ending September 30th, 2018. Prescribing the net sources of revenue in the estimated amount of $1,330,337. Setting forth operating expenditures and transfers in the amount of $1,330,337. Providing for severance, providing for conflicting resolutions, and providing for an effective date.
We need a motion.
Move to approve.
Second. Any discussion?
This is pretty much housekeeping. It's what you get in revenue from the CRA, and you've spent a lot of time in workshops reviewing. We're glad to answer any questions you may have.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Like sign. Motion carries. Okay, now we're back on the agenda. Approval of the minutes for the budget workshop and council meeting of August the 8th, 2017. Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Number 6, citizens to be heard. Comments on any issues or agenda items. Citizens, if you would please give it just 1 second. We're going to do a presentation by Chief Wright. If you would, Chief.
Thank you for indulging me for just a few minutes tonight. I want to tell you about our great police department. We have the best police department ever. Ever. We have fine men and women that represent us. And tonight, we're going to honor those men. Sergeant Kevin Petty. Kevin was promoted to sergeant a couple months ago. And tonight, we're going to honor him in a ceremony involving pinning of the badge. But first, I'd just like to tell you how important this job is. He's our first-line supervisor. They are the ones that watch 24/7 to make sure the officers are doing what they need to do and providing that backup to them to ensure that you get the quality service that you deserve. It's very important. They have to go through personal interview with the command staff. We look at their education. We look at their experience with their years of service. We look at their proficiency with their recent evaluations. Then they have to take a written exam, and if that wasn't enough, they have to go before a panel of 3 experienced criminal justice practitioners and get drilled. And after all that is done and said, whoever scores the highest of everything that we go through gets to be promoted to the rank of sergeant. Every one of those individuals that applied for sergeant, I'm convinced would have made a fine sergeant, but we only had one opening. Kevin scored the highest, Kevin Ernst, the rank of sergeant. Kevin, would you come up, please? Come on up, Gary. Penny of the badge will be his wife, Gary.
Bring the kids.
Come on up. And just think, we have to do this every day we come to work. Present you with a commendation for being promoted to the rank of sergeant. Congratulations. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for showing up to support Kevin.
Having badge before, I know the weight that goes with it, so good job, Kevin.
Good looking family.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the diocese. Citizens to be heard. Is there anything that you may have that you want to talk to the council about? Please feel free to come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, but this is your time. Nobody wants to speak? All right, then, bring it back to the diocese. We have a tabled item. Anybody have any action, or anybody want to talk about it? Oh, I'm sorry, manager's report.
I mean, I'm all for skipping it, but...
It's going to be a long one, so I thought we'd put it at the end.
It is brutal what I have to put up with the new attorney. Briefly, let me give you a status report on the hurricane. As of today, when the hurricane hit, out of 7,800 Florida Power and Light accounts, we had 7,760 reported without power. Today, we have at 3 p.m. 40 FPL customers without power, so we're making substantial progress. We experienced, depends on who you talk to, we're estimating a 5.5 storm surge on the river. That storm surge damaged 44 residential properties along the river. We did a survey today by boat, and I want to thank Commander Paul Nelson, who put the city employees, Gene Willard, I know you were out there doing an inventory along the river. I think we had 2 docks standing, is that about right, and 2 derelict boats. It's just a shame to see those brand new docks for Matthew already destroyed again. We're trying to chase down the owners of the 2 boats now. The total damage citywide was estimated, and a lot of, I want to thank you, Mr. Dillard, and Gary, Chief Building Official, and your employees, because they were out the next day at $14.4 million. By comparison, we're looking at $15.4 million for Matthew. The debris in the city is substantially less than what we had with Matthew, but the personal property damage is significantly more, and you can look right down on the river and see that. We had calls at 2:30 and 3 a.m. in the morning, 911 calls asking for rescue, and we simply didn't have equipment that could get down there. We got them out as quickly as we could. No serious injuries. The good news is Florida Power and Light did give us a dedicated truck and 2 crew members that were in here Monday and followed the city around and helped clear 28 lines across our streets. If you recall in the past, when you got a tree down, you got a line down, we can't touch it, we can't get in there, we can't move it. Because they were in here, we had all 45 miles of city streets cleared the first day and open. And that's a wonderful job you did, Les, your crew, great job. And Greg, your crew right beside them. And I can't thank y'all enough because I know all the work you did getting ready for this event and, of course, all the work that took place immediately after, and it's just getting started, really. All of our traffic signals are functioning. All of our lift stations now are functioning without generation. That's also good news. We are going to keep the Veterans Memorial Park or Riverfront Park closed for an indefinite amount of time. I can't tell you when we're going to be able to open it. It's probably going to require us fencing off the dock area. It was substantially damaged, and keeping people out of there isn't easy because it's not easily fenced. Let's talk about cleanup here for a minute. I think all of you, and I want to thank you, Gene, and everybody that worked in this. Everybody in this city pitched in. Public safety did a phenomenal job. Dave, you ought to be very proud as our EOC director of the job you all did. It was just amazing how everyone came together. Of course, we just rehearsed it 11 months ago, but unfortunately, but they did a wonderful job, and they kept me informed, and Gene tried through me to keep you all informed. And I want to thank you, Gene, because that's long hours and long nights and trying to keep those stats and then working with the EOC. It's a tough job, and we're not perfect, but we're getting better at it, unfortunately, because of experience. Asprit has been one of our contractors. We contacted all of our contractors for hauling. Asprit promised to be in here today. They told us today it'll probably be next week. And the problem we're having with all of our haulers under contract is they're either in Houston or they're in other parts of the state of Florida under contract. Now, why do we use these contractors? They're FEMA approved. It's nice, but we can't find any that's got any time left to get in here in a timely manner. Our monitors, Tetra Tech, signed a contract. We're ready to go. They're in town. We have got a problem on South Palmetto where the flooding took place. We have got to get that household material out of there. It can't sit out in the rain, and it can't sit out in the sun for another week. So we have P&S Paving coming in tomorrow with 7 trucks. Our monitor is Tetra Tech. They will be out there. We'll be out there with them, and we're going to start on South Palmetto. We're going to get up that's household material starting tomorrow. Hopefully it won't take us but a couple of days. It depends on the line out there, but the monitor is at the landfill also. So we're doing everything we can to follow FEMA rules and regulations. We're estimating that just South Palmetto alone is going to probably be around 10 grand. If we don't get refunded, it's got to be picked up. We're going to do everything we can to meet their requirements. Okay? And I want to thank P&S Paving. They coughed them up, and that will probably, they got a lot of big jobs going on, but that was helpful. As far as I know, Holly Hill hasn't got anybody yet because they're using Asprit. Port Orange has no one. They're using Asprit. And as far as I understand, New Smyrna has no one. They were expecting Asprit. So we're all on the waiting list. We're also going to get over here next to Violet. We had a couple of homes in there that had some effluent back up in it. We're going to get that material out of there. So you understand we're concentrating where the flooding took place, where there's mattresses, there's couches, there's just material that can't sit out in the sun. Then we're going to come back. We're working to get another hauler certified, Daytona Tree Service through Asprit, and it has to come up with some insurance to meet Asprit's requirement, and they'll put them down as a sub, and we'll get them in here no later than Thursday. We're planning on this week. I can't tell you when we'll be done with P&S Paving, but at least we're starting to move some material, so be patient. I'm sure the public understands it. It's a little different than Matthew. Finally, we had several complaints of some fluid backing up into people's homes down in the flooded area on South Palmetto. We had a flood. That's all there is to it. We couldn't even get our equipment down there, and water was in these homes. But they complained that there was a strong stench of effluent, sewer backed up. We have ordered a number of backflow preventers. We're going to be installing those to keep the chances of any sewer in the future after a flood backing up in those homes. These property owners contact you, they need to turn it into their insurance carrier, and if the insurance carrier thinks the city's exposed on it, they will be noticing our insurance carrier. Okay? That's all I have on the hurricane. If there's any questions, hurricane related?
Well, yeah, Joe, you mentioned 5.5. Was it 5.5?
I've heard everywhere from 5 to 6.5. And when I tried to nail it down, I was told it depended on where you lived.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense. So I picked 5.5. And you know, well, if I don't know, we'll ever know exactly what the surge was.
It's difficult. It's
One reminder, we've got to meet a week from tomorrow, same place, same time, for your council meeting, to ratify your actions tonight on the budget at least, and of course the millage rate. I have not heard when the school superintendent plans on rescheduling his address to this council. I'm sure they've got their hands full too. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Simpson.
No comments.
Now I'll go back to being in order. Tabled item. Any action? Anybody want to talk about the tabled item? Hearing none, we'll go into old business. Scott, if you would, ordinance 17-09, please.
Ordinance number is 17-09 by title only for second and final reading. An ordinance of the City Council, City of South Daytona, Florida, amending Chapter 10, Article 2, Section 10-37, reserved of the Code of Ordinances of the City of South Daytona by the addition of outdoor lighting, providing for a repeal of all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Need a motion, please?
Move to approve. Second.
Yes, discussion, absolutely.
Thank you. The tentative, and I must read this into the record if I want. Tentative millage rate.
We're not doing millage rate, Joe.
No, we're at 1709.
We're doing that old business.
Old business.
Oh, this is outdoor lighting.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have an ordinance on the books that prohibits a commercial property from shining a security light on a residential. We don't have anything from residential to residential. Throughout the years, we've had periodical problems with that. So we're putting into effect, or recommending that you put into effect an ordinance that allows us to require folks that shine on neighboring properties and they get a complaint that we have some legal way of trying to require them to shade it a little bit. And that's what's before you. Thank you.
This is a public hearing. If anybody in the public is here tonight that would like to speak for or against ordinance 1709, please come forward, state your name and address, please.
Board, my name is Ronald Zosky. I reside at 135 Reef Road and South Daytona. And I'm here in reference to this modification. First of all, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the City of South Daytona. I've been a member of this village or city since 1970. I've been very, very happy with all the services, police, code enforcement department, building department, etc., including all the city officials. I have never left my home during a hurricane since 1958, 70 in South Daytona. With the faith and confidence that I have in the city has presented me with success and happiness for my family, and minimal danger of property damage as well as personal. In reference to the modification 1709, I'd like to thank the city again most kindly to address this in the respect that it has been needing to be addressed for quite some time. I have an issue with a neighbor, as you well know, that is totally different. And finally, hopefully by passing this, it'll bring a remedy and a solution to being harassed and slandered by a neighbor of mine. With your permission, board, I have 2 photos in each envelope, and I'd like to pass them out with your permission. There are 2 photos in every envelope, and they are pictures of the light on my dock.
Okay.
For security and welfare of my family.
Ron, if you'll give them to me, I'll hand them out before you wait to proceed, okay?
I'm sorry?
Give them to me and I'll hand them out.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, you go ahead and proceed. Thank you.
Anyway, to conclude briefly, that hopefully this will settle the issue, and I'll stop there, as it goes quite a bit deeper than that, but we'll start with this and proceed forward. And I appreciate the support of the city in all respects concerning this issue that has got to stop. Please. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience would like to speak for or against Ordinance 1709? Please come forward. Seeing none, I bring it back to the council. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we're on new business. Resolution 1715, if you would, Scott.
Kevin, you want me to read this in its entirety, so it covers all the millage stuff, or is Joe doing it? You want me to read the whole thing? Okay. Oh, the title's fine? Okay. Resolution number 17-15 by title only for first reading. A resolution of the City of South Daytona, Florida, adopting a tentative millage rate for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2017, and ending September 30th, 2018, and providing for an effective date.
Need a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Second. Now we have a...
Thank you. Sorry, I'm on the right agenda item. The tentative millage rate that you're in the process of approving or changing or ratifying is higher than the rollback rate of 6.966. In order to, the purpose of this increase, which is a rate at 7.8 or 11.97% higher than what your rollback rate would be, is in order that we can continue the restoration of the undesignated reserve balances back to within policy levels, and to meet a scheduled debt service increases, as well as a scheduled balloon payment in the future years. Mr. Mayor, as all of you know, you spent a great deal of time in angsting over this, but the purpose, of course, is that within 2 or 3 years, you've got the cash to pay a balloon and not refinance it, as well as put some extra money back. So that being said, it's the public hearing time, and it's up to you folks. I stand to answer any question. Finance Director said.
This is a public hearing. If anybody in the audience would like to speak for or against Resolution 17-15, please come forward. Seeing none, I bring it back to the council for discussion.
Numerous conversations at the budget workshops and with staff, so I'm good, Mayor.
Especially given what we just went through, I don't think there's a whole lot of choice.
No further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Scott, if you would, Resolution 17-16, please.
Resolution number 17-16 by title only for first reading. A resolution of the City of South Daytona, Florida, adopting a tentative budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2017 and ending September 30th, 2018, and providing for an effective date.
I need a motion, please.
Move for approval. Second.
Any comment, Mr. Yarborough?
Yes, if I may, real quick. Again, all of you have spent many hours going over this. We've held at least one public hearing on the proposed budget. It is balanced. It provides for an average of 3% raise for the city employees. It caps the personal leave payout at 75% of those of that available of that qualified by each employee. It provides for $400,000 to be transferred to the general fund undesignated reserves. It provides $166,537 to go into reserves for future debt service payments. It will be earmarked for that. You have an operating contingency of $52,500. You have some maintenance of your buildings in here. You have the Big Tree Road Shared Youth Path contract that you awarded at $657,000. You have the $380,000 worth of median improvements, both of which are substantially grant funded. There's $20,000 in there for the improvements that DOT is going to do for the Big Tree US 1 intersection for the turn lane. Another reasonably large ticket item is $86,000 for the US 1 South Palmetto lift station replacement. And I can go on. We have water line improvements of $25,000, but that's some of the big ticket items. There's very little equipment in this budget. We've got the Teague Street sewer extension in there for around $65,000, but if you remember, that's CDBG funded, but that's a positive. We do not have in this budget, it will be coming as a budget amendment because we didn't get the notice from the Department of Environmental Protection until July, that we have $500,000 coming for sewer connections. Now, I think all of you have discussed this with you, but that $500,000 will not be spent until October the 1st of next year, primarily because we want to take that money and leverage it with other funding agencies like St. John's in order to try to get around $750,000 for the sewer connections. What that means is that the citizens that are not on sewer in this city will have free connections. They won't have to pay connection fees. They won't have to pay impact fees. It will come out of this grant. But what you're going to end up doing with the rate study, and hopefully we'll get the rate study paid out of this, the rate study will set a rate that is more, it gives a greater incentive for those that do not take advantage of this free connection. But that will be something that we're working through this next year, and it'll be in a budget amendment. But that's some of the highlights of this, Mr. Mayor. It does have $30,500 in it for the first step shelter. And it also has Hope Place in here at $11,455, both of which you all have been over extensively. Any questions, Finance Director and I will try to answer.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in the audience would like to speak for or against Resolution 17-16, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the council for discussion.
Discussed it several times already.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Scott, if you would, Resolution 17-17, please.
Resolution number 17-17 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City of South Daytona, Florida, ratifying the Eastern Volusia Regional Water Authority 2017-2018 budget and providing an effective date.
I need a motion, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any staff, Mr. Yarborough?
Well, you have a council member that serves on there, Brandon Young. It's made up of Holly Hills, South Daytona, and Daytona Beach. There is no fiscal impact. All you're doing is ratifying a budget off of reserves that is in place for the our regional water authority. Budget's benign.
Any discussion by the council? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 17-20, if you would, Scott, please.
Resolution number 17-20 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City of South Daytona, Florida, opposing legislative efforts to impede the constitutional right Florida citizens have enjoyed for nearly 50 years to govern themselves under municipal home rule powers. Opposing the legislature's persistent intrusion into local finances, which are necessary to provide financial stability and essential services uniquely required by municipal residents and local businesses. Directing city administration to transmit a certified copy of this resolution to the Florida League of Cities, the Volusia County Legislative Delegation, and any other interested parties, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
I need a motion, please.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any staff, Mr. Yarborough?
Quickly, the Florida League of Cities have asked us for you to consider adopting this resolution, which deals with home rule. And as you know, all of you know, we've been under attack on the autonomy we have to govern our own future. Legislature keeps wanting to usurp it. The next one is, the next two are the same, except on different issues, Mr. Mayor.
Any discussion?
It's getting worse every year, so we need to try to do all we can.
I appreciate the city looking at these resolutions, because as many of us know who serve on these committees, these are the resolutions and the priorities that come out of the league. So having all the, whether it's however many cities, 467, 476, something like that.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. We'll be to 500 pretty soon. So it's good stuff. And this, Ralph Cohen said it better, this coming year is going to be worse than last year. So we got to get through one more year of this speaker. So put me on the record for that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Scott, if you would, 17-20.
Resolution number 17-21 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City of South Daytona, Florida, urging all members of the Florida legislature to oppose legislation that would restrict or eliminate community redevelopment agencies. Directing city administration to transmit a certified copy of the resolution to the Florida League of Cities, the Volusia County Legislative Delegation, and any other interested parties, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Need a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any staff, Mr. Yarborough?
Trying to ask them to leave our CRAs alone.
Another reason for the previous.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 17-22, Scott.
Resolution number 17-22 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City of South Daytona, Florida, supporting legislation reforming the communications service tax in a manner that is revenue neutral, providing for a broad and equitable tax base, providing for enhanced stability and reliability as an important revenue source for local government, and providing a uniform method for taxing communication services in Florida. Directing city administration to directing city administration a certified copy of this resolution to the Florida League of Cities, the Volusia County Legislative Delegation, and any other interested parties, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Need a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Second. Any staff, Mr. Yarborough?
What you're doing in this resolution is asking the legislature that when you address this communication service tax, which you keep every year wanting to tweak, or I think they reduced it last year for the state revenue that they get off of it. Leave the local revenue source alone, or figure out how you're going to make up that lost revenue. That's an important revenue source that keeps us operating. It's just nothing in the world but making sure these folks that use our right of ways pay for it.
Any discussion by council? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 17-23.
Resolution number 17-23 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City Council of the City of South Daytona, Florida, authorizing the adoption of the 2017 update to the City of South Daytona Annual Progress Report for the city's floodplain management plan, providing for conflicting resolutions, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Need a motion, please?
Move for approval. Second.
Any staff?
More housekeeping, Mr. Mayor. We're required to adopt this resolution for several reasons. One, so we can make sure that it's provided, but also in order to get points when we come in and they do the new eval and they rate us. And the better we score, the less our rates are for citizens and business.
Any discussion?
I just do have a question. In view of the surge that we had with this past storm, would that affect these ratings at all, or is that considered like just a freakish act of nature to have such a surge?
I can tell you right now it won't affect this. It will down the road, maybe. Good question.
No other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance 17-10, if you would, Scott, please.
Ordinance number 17-10 by title only for first reading. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of South Daytona, Florida, amending Section 16-19, local business tax receipt prerequisites, to provide a presumption of a rental agreement requiring a business tax receipt when a non-owner resides in a residential structure that the owner is not residing in the same residence at the same time, providing for severability, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing an effective date.
Need a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Second.
Staff, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. For some time, we had been operating under the presumption if it's not homesteaded, it's a rental property. Why, you may ask? Because we have had, and while it's been an ordinance, well, because the city attorney felt more comfortable if it was explicit in our existing ordinance on rental properties. We run into a complaint. We go out to check on the complaint. We find people living in the house that's not homesteaded. The person that owns it says, well, you know, they're not paying rent. Our problem is we have no way of knowing they're paying rent or not, and it's occupied. This will not affect people that have second homes that are empty in the summer. They show up in the winter, fine. They don't need a rental. But when you have somebody in a home that you own, you got to get it inspected. Okay? And that's all we're asking.
Any discussion?
The number of rental properties we have and all the community completely agree with it. Completely. As we all know, whether it's your neighborhood or the one downstairs, that sometimes is your biggest challenge.
See, this is the first reading. Is it public reading?
No public hearing.
No public hearing.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I guess this is me now, right? Consideration of approving a special exception for preschool learning center located at 949 Bevel Road, Suite A, South Daytona. Passed LDRB on August the 16th, 2017. First and only reading and public hearing. Need a motion, please?
Move for approval. Second.
Staff, Mr. Yearable.
Many of you probably know where this is. You know where John's Appliances, and just to the, on Bevel Road, just to the east, there's a strip center along there. It's the last unit except next to Bevel Road, and it has certain conditions before we'll issue the permit, one of which you got a fence in the backyard. You got to have a little playground area. Everything else they meet the requirements of. Remember, this is preschool. There's a little top. We couldn't find any reason to not,
Any discussion?
or recommend it.
One question I had is I happened to be driving by the property, and like all of us been driving around a lot the last week. Agree with this PVC fence and the, what was the word there, the buffers for the traffic. I guess my only question is, they've already installed it. So is that normal that they would do that before they get the approval, or is everything a little bit off on the timing?
You'll have to ask the owner or the tenant that's got it. We didn't by any means tell them that they were going to get it approved.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Well, because I told him to put it up. I didn't even know it was up.
Yeah. Well, because they've got those.
Do you know why it's up?
Yes.
Good, here's an answer.
John Diller, Community Development Director. They are under a tight schedule to get moved from another facility. And I said, if you do it, you're on your own risk. So that was one of those things.
Fair enough. Do you know what the age groups are? It said 5 workers and 40 children. You know what age are they going up?
It's all preschool.
Well, I know that.
Yeah.
That's ratio. I mean, is it toddlers or infants?
It's toddlers.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is the opportunity for the public to speak on behalf of this special exception. If anybody in the public that's present tonight would like to come up and speak, now's your time. Seeing none, bring it back to the council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special exception carries. J, consideration of ratifying the employee bargaining unit's labor agreement for the International Association of Firefighters and the Public Employees Association. I need a motion, please.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any staff, Mr. Yearwood?
Yes. We have 2 out of 3 that we have reached an agreement for. These are 3-year contracts. They're based on a 2% COLA every year and up to a 1.5% merit. As you recall, your budget reflects a 3%, which is what it would average across the board, pretty close to it. We have been meeting since May and had 6 meetings with the PBA, the police union. We have not been successful in coming to a compromise for the contract. It's some stuff that they're asking for, primarily that there won't be a merit. That is something that I don't feel comfortable in recommending to this body. If we've got 2 out of 3, and every employee in this city that can agree with the 1.5% merit, then in my opinion as your manager, they should. Now, I understand there's going to be a vote coming up. I want to remind you that historically you have never made these union contracts retroactive. If these negotiations go into October or November, I would like to say that it's going to be unlikely this council is going to go back and make retroactive pay. Otherwise, there's no incentive to sit down and declare impasse if that's what's going on. Just if you keep dragging these out, it just isn't fair for the other employees in the city, in my opinion. We need to have some budgetary direction. So I'll remind you of that. I'm not asking you to take that position or not, but I think that we've been very fair, and if it's good for the firefighters, if it's good for the rest of the employees in the city, I just am struggling with why I can't get the police to the table. We're working on it. I'm still optimistic.
Any discussion?
Yeah, question. Where was the 15 contract? These same numbers when you negotiated 3 years ago, or is it at the...
I'm sorry.
Your numbers 3 years ago when you negotiated the contract, these basically these same numbers?
Well, we did a COLA. We didn't go to the merit to.
Okay, that's
and
what
all we're
I
trying to do is give some sort of incentive other than showing up to work.
Oh, completely agree. That's why I just remember this being a COLA. Now, also, it's probably problematic, or making this a little bit more problematic, is your IAFF chapter or lodge is just our guys, where the PBA is a collective of.
Right.
So,
Now, don't know. There is a larger IAFF.
correct.
Right. They have their own attorney and.
I understand that, but PBA, they're representing multiple police departments throughout.
And so is the IAFF.
Okay.
Okay. So it's an umbrella.
Oh, no, I understand that. For some reason, I just thought they were
But
broken up a little bit differently.
If I may, Councilman, and for the rest of you, years ago, we always had a merit. We got away from the merit during the financial crisis. And then we were just doing good to come up with the COLA. And I'm not going to bore you with the importance, I think, of a merit is in employees' raises. I think there ought to be some way you earn it. The 2% that you're recommending exceeds the cost of living for this past year. Yeah. So, anyway, I hope I answered the question.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Consideration of declaring certain city-owned property as surplus and authorizing its proper disposal.
You're looking
I
at...
need a motion.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Now I got staff.
Okay. Got 2 old police cruisers. I'd like to get them in the auction.
This year?
Yeah, we'll get them in auction as soon as we can. I think you're familiar with them. They were stored down there. Everybody might have gone by. I moved them. I thought we needed room for Astra to store their equipment, so I moved them down to those, I don't know where they are. I don't know the list, but it might be already at the auction house. I assume you don't want to keep them. They're not good for anybody, but I didn't make room.
Any
That's 2
discussion?
cars sitting where the old fuel station used to be.
Well, they were sitting.
That was they.
Yeah. 03 and 04.
Where did the funds go?
Say it again?
We're going through auction, right? Do we get
Yes.
anything for them?
Yes.
What happens to the money?
It goes into your reserves or into your budget. Did I budget it? No. Do we know? Because we don't know what it's going to be. Where all our stuff goes, it goes into like a public auction, it's it. We're not the only ones with old police cruisers, old tractors, confiscated stuff nobody gets, and bicycles. I think with bicycles we've been giving away to charity. But you have to declare everything in this city surplus if it's over a certain value and it's logged in.
Anything else? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Unscheduled items, Councilman or Vice Mayor Young, start with you.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me start off. I think I probably speak for everyone. Our thoughts and prayers for all the families affected here in the community. I know we all saw it. This is my 6th hurricane here, and I have not seen us hit the way we got hit. Charlie knocked down a bunch of trees, but the homes and property damage was pretty tough. So thoughts and prayers for obviously all the families affected. I know we all probably had family and friends around the whole state this affected. I got a brother-in-law who lives right on the bay in St. Pete, and he just got his power yesterday. So when you're dealing with people on the East Coast and the West Coast, that's a big storm. So Maria can stay out there. So that's my other comment. Maria, stay out there. We don't want you. To everyone here, thank you. You guys, seriously, yeoman's work. That's great. Jeannie, everybody, just absolutely top-notch getting out there. To the crews out there, to the trash guys, to the FPL, to the Spectrum, the AT&T, everybody. So it's I know everybody wants it done yesterday, but it's hard work. So very very thankful for all that. We'll have another meeting next week, but next Thursday, the 28th, we're hosting the Volusia League of Cities. So we'll get. So again, thank you to the staff. Despite all that, still planning that and getting that together. You still got.
We are still hoping. Thank you for reminding us.
So at the Pickett Center there next Thursday, the 28th. And the only question I had was, Joe, was I know the answer, but just so the public, are we shaking that FEMA money loose with now that they know there's going to be more money needed coming behind it?
There's a story behind that you won't believe. We got it. The money was shipped in April. State has it. State is supposed to kick in 12%. It's been approved, then it wasn't approved, then it's approved, and now it's off the webpage and nobody answers the phone. So we're going now to Senator Hughes. And Mayor, you'll probably be asked to come in and sign a letter to the senator saying, what's up? It's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't think the state has the money to release it. I don't know what's going on. But we can't get anybody to talk to us. One minute it's approved, it's going over the check be cut, next minute, oh, we got problems, and then nobody answers, and the whole webpage is down. I'm serious. I'd have more respect saying, hey, we got to hold on to this a little bit longer. That's all they had to say.
Yeah.
Probably get no money for this storm.
I'd be embarrassed if I was the state department.
On that cheery note, I'm done.
Geez, thanks, Brandon.
Yeah.
I pretty much affirm everything that you said. Thanks to all the staff that worked so hard. I think we were very blessed, and I think we just need to pray that these other storms don't cause more damage. Because by golly, our budget can't handle it, so.
Councilwoman O'Neill?
Ditto. Thank you. Fantastic job to everybody.
Same here. Been a rough week, thanks, and the communications were good, and I don't think anybody could have done any better.
Well, y'all were stellar. Absolutely stellar.
Hey, well, Waste Bros here. Ken, thank you. Thank you for coming in and helping out. Thank you for cleaning up around the schools for us. I know you probably haven't seen them in your neighborhood, but you got sidewalks open now, thanks to Waste Bros. We appreciate it.
And on a cheery note, the hot dog wagon's down there with a whole bunch of new decals on it,
Yes, it is.
and they look great. Safe Waste Pro, thank you for that as well, right?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Wonderful.
Well, I don't know. What his daddy's children. Yeah, he didn't want you to know he did it. What he meanwhile, he's still. That's what he wants to show you. Look, I did it. That ain't good. Oh, here. Oh, hey, Chief.